Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of Lifeline for Daily Living. Yes, this is the place where you can find the answers to your mental health, relationship, and family questions. I'm your host, Jim Hewitt. Glad you've tuned in today. I think you're going to find today's topic very interesting, so I hope you'll stay tuned because we'll be right back. All right. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Lifeline for Daily Living. Glad that you've joined me again this week. I want to talk about something today that probably at some point you have experienced. I think all of us have experienced it at one time or another. God created us to be in relationship. He said in Genesis, when he created Adam and Eve, that it was not good for man to be alone. So he created us to be in relationship. Now, sometimes relationships flourish and grow and deepen and are successful. However, other times, relationships falter. And oftentimes, at least what I deal with in my office is when relationships fail at some point. There's a breakup. Now, whether it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, whether it's a husband, wife, whether they have been together 6 months, 6 years, 10 years, 15 years, all of a sudden, life just gets in the way, and because we're both frail and we're both tend to be selfish in some way, shape, or form, relationships fail. Now, what happens when your heart is broken? That's what I want to look at today. What happens to you, to me, to all of us when our heart is broken because of a failed relationships? Relationships can be very rewarding. Meeting somebody for the first time, getting to know them, spending time together, learning to love one another, learning likes, dislikes, but also relationships can make us vulnerable. Vulnerable to discord, vulnerable to hurt, often leaving both people, or at least one of them, brokenhearted. Having a broken heart has been the topic of movies, it's been the topic of songs, it's been the topic of poems, but the question remains, what now? After the breakup, after the demise of the relationship, what happens to us? What happens to us next? Where do I go? What do I do? My world has been turned upside down. I feel sick. I feel physically sick. I feel depressed. I don't want to get out of bed in the morning. It's everything I can do just to put one foot in front of the other. My life as I knew it, my life as I dreamed it would be, has come crashing down. So what I want to talk about today is, what steps do you need to take in order for your broken heart to be healed? Notice I didn't say mended, I meant healed, because I draw a distinction between a mended broken heart and a healed broken heart. A mended broken heart means that, I just kind of stitch things back together and hope it works. A healed broken heart, a healing from a broken heart, is more long-lasting. You might feel like, because of this breakup, I'm never ever going to get into a relationship again. Never ever. Well, I get that. I understand that. And I know that you feel that way, but that really isn't realistic, because if I never ever get into a relationship again, I'm going to feel lonely. I'm going to be isolated, and it's going to cause all kinds of problems. So, with all of that said, I want to give you 6 tips, 6 principles, if you will, 6 things that you can kind of hold on to, that you can kind of grasp and hang your hope on, that'll get you through this difficult time. Number 1 is, I want you to take heart. Okay, first of all, take heart. You are going to get through this. You are going to get through this. Having your heart broken, it hurts. You know, whenever, I don't know if you've ever had the experience, I've had the experience of having a sprained wrist. My wife had a fractured wrist, a broken wrist, and I mean, that's painful. It's very painful. Our bodies are made that way, that when something is it hurts. It just hurts. And so, you might lose your appetite. You may sleep more than normal. You may stay awake and just have difficulty going to sleep. Confusion may rule. Again, your world's been turned upside down and inside out. That which you trusted is no more. That which you thought was going to be forever has ended. And it's a tragedy, and I get that. But you're going to get through it. You're going to come out on the other side, and I believe you're going to come out even stronger. You'll get through it. The intensity of the symptoms that you're feeling now, they will begin to subside. It will not hurt in a few weeks, in a few months, as much as it hurts right now. You will get through this. I promise you will get through this. You'll come out on the other side. You may even be happier on the other side of this, but you will get through it. Like there was a song that was a popular hit some years ago, and it goes something like this. I can see clearly now that the rain is gone. The storm has come, and the storm has taken place, and it's upset you, but after that, those intense feelings begin to subside. You're going to see things a whole lot clearer. So trust me now. Take heart. You're gonna get through this. Number 2. I think something that I would recommend that you do right off the bat, I wouldn't wait, that is talk to someone who cares. Now, you could talk to a counselor for sure. And I'm going to give you some contact information that if you've recently experienced a broken heart, or maybe it was some time ago, and you just can't seem to get past it, you can't seem to get over it, I'm going to give you contact information. You can contact me. I'll be glad to sit down and talk with you about it. But maybe it's not a counselor. Maybe it's a very trusted friend. And notice I said very trusted friend that has your best interest at heart. That they care about you, they love you, they want the best for you, and they will walk with you through the journey. They're not going to be judgmental of you. They're going to tell truth, but they're not going to be judgmental of you and start throwing all the darts at you and blaming you for all the things. No, they're going to be someone who cares and is supportive. It's kind of like when a guy gets hurt on a football field. You ever seen that? I'm sure you have. Whether it's high school, college, or pro, they get hurt on the field, and what ends up happening is immediately when somebody is hurt, the team members run over and they pick them up and they help them off the field. Well, that's what this is kind of like. You've been perhaps bruised and battered, and your world's upside down, and you feel weakened, and you feel in despair, you feel confused. This is the time where you need to lean on someone else. Now, King Solomon, I think, said it best in Proverbs. He says, two people are better than one. 2 is better than 1. For if the one falls, the other is there to pick him up. I want you to hear that again. Two people are better than 1. For if one falls, if one has a broken heart in what we're talking about today, if one has a broken heart, if one stumbles, if one's confused, if one is hurting, the other is there to pick them up and to give them strength and to give them support, to reach out and help. But someone who falls alone is simply in trouble. So I want to encourage you, if you have a broken heart, if you're experiencing or either in the recent past or maybe in the distant past, and you just can't get traction, you just can't seem to move forward, find someone to talk to who really cares and you really trust that they're going to keep what you talk about confidential. In fact, if it's a given that when you talk to a therapist, they're bound by confidentiality. I'm bound by confidentiality, but not so much with friends. And so you want to start that discussion with your friend. Hey, look, I got something I want to share with you, and I hope you'll join me on my journey, but I want you to keep this between you and me, just between you and me. I don't want to see it on Facebook. I don't want to see it on Twitter. I don't want to see it on Snapchat. I don't want to see it on social media. It's just between you and I. Someone that you can trust. So find that person. 2 is better than 1 anytime. Number 3. Now, some of you may think, well, on this one that I'm gonna list for you, well, that's not really me. But I want to encourage you to think about it. If you're not a believer, I want you to think about this. If you're a believer, I want you to really kind of zero in on what I'm getting ready to say. And that is, take your broken heart to God. Take your broken heart to God. There are those who say, well, I'm not going to do that. And that's fine if that's where you're at. Okay, I get that. But God knows us better than we know ourselves. I mean, after all, He created us, did He not? He created us, and He created us to be in relationship primarily with Him, but also with others. He knows you're hurt. He knows your heart is broken. He created you and I to love and to be loved. And oftentimes when I'm experiencing a broken heart, I feel unloved. Maybe somebody has said to us during that breakup, maybe somebody has said to you, you're not worth loving. Or they have given you the impression, you're not worth any value to me at all. You're not worth loving, so just go your way and don't bother me anymore. So we begin to question our own sense of self-worth. Well, see, God knows us inside and out, forwards and backwards. He knows all the good things. He knows all the bad things. He knows everything about us. And so if anyone can help us with our broken heart, it certainly is God. Listen to what the Bible says here. You feel unloved because of this breakup. You feel unloved because of the broken heart. Listen to what God says. I have loved you, He says. I have loved you with an everlasting love, an unfailing love. I have drawn you to myself. I have loved you with God never, ever, 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 ever stops loving you. Now, you and I can take heart in that. Even though we may not feel loved by that someone that where the breakup was, and I get all of that. Beyond that and above that and deeper than that is God's unending love to us. Very rarely does a day or a week go by that someone is sitting in my office and they're either going through a breakup or they have just been through a breakup, and they're questioning their own value. They're questioning their own worth. Because that has been put in question by the breakup. But trust me now, God says, I have loved you with an everlasting love. It's a love that never, ever, 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 ever stops. No matter what we do, no matter what we say, no matter how we act, God says, I've loved you with an everlasting love. And so it's very important to go to God, I think, to go to God after you've had a bad relationship and just seek Him out and seek, how can I do things differently, God? Where did I mess up with this relationship? Did I get into it too quickly? Did I have blinders on? And all of those questions, take those to God, and trust me, He will answer them for you. Now, He may not answer them immediately, but He will answer them nonetheless. And so take your broken heart to God. Number four, allow yourself to be human and feel pain. Now we immediately say, whoa, I don't want to feel any pain. I don't like that pain stuff. Well, nobody does. But you have to go through that. One way that we know that we're truly human and truly alive is when we feel pain. If I'm hammering a nail and my hammer slips and hits my thumb or hits my finger, there's pain there. That lets me know, whoa, I'm really alive. Emotional and relational pain is much the same way. Going through a breakup can be very difficult, and it can touch very raw emotion. It's extremely important to let those emotions, let yourself feel those emotions. Many people try to stuff them down, try to ignore them, try to go around them, try to explain them away or deny them, or drink them away or pill them away. No, listen, allow yourself to feel, because it's through that pain that you will find the value of who you really are. No one desires to go through pain. Nobody does. I mean, I certainly don't. I'm sure you don't. None of us desires going through pain. But sometimes pain is necessary in order for us to really kind of check in on what's going on. If I have a pain in my leg that's a persistent pain, that's signaling to my body that there's something wrong. If I'm feeling nauseous and I have a headache and I have a fever, that's my body telling me that there's something wrong and I need to address it. Well, this is the same way. Allow yourself to be human. Don't minimize what you're going through. Find a safe place that you're comfortable, and let the tears flow. It's good to cry. Don't not cry. In fact, if you don't cry at some point during this process, you maybe ought to check into that. You're gonna cry. It's painful. It hurts. You feel abandoned. You all the things that you were hoping for and excited about in that relationship, boom, they're gone. And so there's an adjustment that needs to take place. And so when we're honest with ourselves and we allow ourselves to feel the pain of what's really going on, only when we deal with that are we getting set for the recovery and moving forward into a much better, healthier, happier kind of life. I tell people, look, you're either going to experience it now or you're going to experience it later. Either way, you're going to experience it. You're going to experience the pain of the loss of the relationship now, or you're going to experience it later. Either way, you're going to experience. And so let yourself be human and feel the pain. Number 5, give yourself time to heal. Give yourself time to heal. I remember when I was a kid and I fractured my wrist. I had to be put in a splint. Didn't have a cast, but just put in a splint. And I had to wear that thing during the summer, out of school during the summer. I had to wear that for 6 to 8 weeks. I couldn't go swimming. I could just barely write, and I'm right-handed. I could barely do things because of that splint. And you get aggravated, you get irritated, and you want to rush the process. You want to rush through this because, again, we want to escape the pain. We don't want to feel the pain, and so we want to just get moving past it. But listen, you need to allow yourself time to heal. You have to be really, really careful in getting, kind of getting into a new relationship right off the bat. Give yourself time to heal. There is a sense of trauma with this. Emotional trauma happens when there's a breakup, and so you need to allow yourself time to heal. Give yourself some time. Now, for different people, it's different amounts of time, but you need to allow a good enough time and a lengthy enough time to genuinely heal before you get back into another relationship. The deeper our emotions, the longer it will take us to heal. Now, I want to say that one more time. The deeper our emotions are regarding this breakup, the broken heart, the longer it will take us to heal. Is that a month? No. Is that 2 months? Probably not. Is it 4 months? I don't know. Is it 6 months? Maybe. Is it longer? Most probably it is. That's what I'm saying. Take time to heal. Don't fight the healing process. Because see, if you've ever had a broken arm, broken leg, or fracture, and you take that cast off too early, what's going to happen is that that bone is not going to knit back together. And physicians tell us that when bones that have been broken knit back together and they're allowed to heal, they really actually heal stronger. They knit back together stronger than what they were before. You hear that? And so the best thing to do in the world where there's a broken heart is to allow yourself time to heal. Now, that may be doing things differently, going to the gym, exercising, getting good restful sleep. Certainly if you're working, continue working. Go to the park, do some enjoyable kind of thing. The worst thing I think that you can do in this case is to just stay home, stay inside, don't do anything. No, if you don't attend church, find yourself a church home to go to. Maybe you don't want to go to a small group Bible study. Maybe you want to just go to worship service. That's fine. Great. Or maybe you want to find a small group Bible study. Even better. But give yourself time to heal. You need to do that, because if you don't, you're going to enter into another relationship down the road that's going to end up broken once again. And so allow yourself time to heal. Now finally, number 6, and I saved this one to last on purpose, and that is learn lessons from this broken heart experience. What is it that and I often tell people, ask this question: God, what are you trying to teach me about this? What are you trying to teach me? What are you trying to teach me about me? What are you trying to teach me about being in a relationship with other people? What is it you're trying to teach me? See, it's not if difficult things happen to us. It's inevitable. They will happen to us. But the question is, what are we going to learn? If you've been in multiple relationships and had multiple broken hearts and multiple breakups, maybe it's time you take another hard look at the experience, because if you get back into the same kind of thing, something you're not learning. And so it's important to learn lessons. So as people begin, if I'm dealing with a client and they're in my office and they're beginning to work through this, I'm asking them all the way through, okay, what is it that you're learning here? What is it you're learning about yourself? What is it you're learning about relationships? So that what do you think went wrong? What went right? Did you jump in too quick? Did you was it trust? What was it? And so learning from that experience, learning how to communicate better. Again, rarely does a day or a week go by that I don't encounter a couple in my office, and the number one thing they say is, we have trouble communicating. And so maybe you need to learn how to communicate in a healthy, positive way. Maybe you need to be more sensitive to your own feelings, but also sensitive to other people's feelings as well. And maybe you need to learn to see things from other people's perspectives. Ooh, that's a big one, huh? Listen now, there's never one person that's always right and one person that's always wrong. There's a little bit of mixture in there with both of us, right? And so we need to learn the ability to see things from somebody else's perspective and learn from that. So learn the lessons from the experience that you're going through. Now, let me kind of wrap all this up. When there's a broken heart because of a relationship has ended, there's a sense of mourning because the relationship is lost. There's a sense of grieving what could have been, and grieving the loss of relationship. It's just difficult to go through. So recovering from a broken heart will take some time to get through, but you will get through it. I promise you will get through it. Time to sort out your feelings associated with the relationship that just broke up. Healing cannot be rushed, much like what I was saying earlier, a broken bone. See, if I rush into another relationship, then what's going to happen is the leftover stuff from the previous broken relationship is going to filter into this new relationship. And so I need to be a healed, healthy individual before engaging in another relationship. I'm reminded of one of my favorite names of God in the Old Testament, and that name is Jehovah Rapha. And what Jehovah Rapha means is the God who heals. It's the God who heals. And He heals us spiritually, He heals us physically, He heals us emotionally, and He heals us relationally. Sometimes, listen to me close, sometimes the loss of that relationship is God's way of saying, you need to focus more on me. You need to put me first and not that other person. And you need to allow me to work in your life the way I want to work in your life. And so God is the God who heals, Jehovah Rapha. And I promise you, He wants to heal your broken heart. There's some things that you have to do. There's some things that you have to pay attention to. Maybe you need to talk to someone, maybe a trusted friend or a therapist. But ultimately, it is God who knows you better than anyone. He knows your temperament. He knows your thoughts even before you and I think them. He's the one who can ultimately mend that broken heart. And so I want you to do this today. I want you to think about if you've had a broken heart. Maybe you haven't. Maybe your relationship is good, but I guarantee you know someone who is either going through a breakup or they've been through it and their heart has been broken. You can share this with them. And I would invite you to share this podcast with them. If you're watching this on Facebook, share it with them. I would love for as many people to see this as possible so that you can get the idea of what ways that you can mend a broken heart. God can do it. You can do it as well. 6 ways to heal, to mend a broken heart. I want to thank you for tuning in to this episode of Lifeline for Daily Living. Something I have shared today has raised some questions or concerns. There's 3 ways that you can contact me. You can contact me by phone. My phone number is 573-732-4575. Again, that's 573-732-4575. Or you can email me. My email address is lifelineonline@hotmail.com. Again, that's lifelineonline@hotmail.com. Or a third way is if you're watching this on Facebook, you can private message me, give me your contact information. You can ask a question. Just the other day, I set up an appointment with somebody who had contacted me over Facebook. So I can do that for you as well. Just contact me. One of those 3 ways, I'd love to sit down and talk to you about mending a broken heart. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you right here next time on Lifeline for Daily Living.